Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we will be testing out each and every single sword damage in the game. Now, I currently don't have all the swords in the game, but for the ones I do have, we'll go ahead and test out each and every single one of them's damage. And I also don't have every single one of them upgraded, but we'll just go ahead and test them out as they are right now. And for the next video, I'll go ahead and upgrade each and every single sword and see how much it costs to upgrade every single sword by itself, and test out each and every single one of them's damage individually. So, but for this video, we'll just go ahead and do everything as is. So the first sword will be the Nightblade. So let's go ahead and test out the Nightblade. So head over to Arena. Let's see what we're working with. Now, before we even get started for stats, I'm currently running max health, max sword, and max fruit as well. And for passives, I currently have last breath on. I also have, do I have any NPC damage? Yeah, I do destruction 5, so I do 16% more damage to NPCs. And I do also have critical strikes as well. And let's see, do I have destruction? Yeah, I do have destruction 4, and it does 14% more damage to NPCs. I might go ahead and use this passive, but I do want to go ahead and use this without a passive first. But let's see, I do also have the ability, so we'll do 2 of them. So let's see, vanish and slash. 24. Yeah, I do also have Blaze-Stone on this, so that was, I think, 24 base, but with the Blaze-Stone it's 26k. So let's go ahead and use the X move. 20k, which is actually insane. So let's go ahead and test out a combo with this sword. Nope. Okay, let's see. So X and then Z. 47k damage. That is actually not that bad. That is actually not that bad for the Nightblade. So the Nightblade is actually pretty good for grinding right now. And then let's head over to the next sword. Okay guys, so for the next sword, we're using BMT, Bloodmoon Twins. And let's see, we have max upgrade on this sword. And for my accessories, I did also forget to mention this, we have Abyssal Tyrant Armor on. So this gives us a 13% more sword damage. So let's go ahead and test this out. So for the Z move, 37k. Oh my goodness, what are we doing? 37k. And then for the X move, 27k. That is insane. That is close to 60k, over 60k honestly. But let's go ahead and test this out one more time with the combo. So 60k. Wow. Oh my goodness, that is insane. You know what, I think let's do that one more time. I think that was over 60k. Let's do X first. Nah, I did that terribly. Let's go ahead and do that one more time. 66k damage. Insane. Honestly, insane. The sword is broken. This is the new meta right now, honestly. But let's head over to the next sword. Alright guys, so for the next sword we have Sweet Lozenge. Now, this is a disaster of a sword. I don't even know why this still exists. Honestly, it's a limited item, but it's so terrible, bro. Honestly, if you use this for PvP or any other grinding thing, you're just skilled at the game, bro, honestly. But let's go ahead and test out the moveset. So I currently have no upgrades on the sword. And for the Z moveset, let's see, 20k damage. That's not bad. It's not bad. For the X move, 17k. Okay, that is terrible. Honestly, bro, for a limited item, this needs like an actual buff. Honestly, bro, it needs a buff. But let's go ahead and test out a combo. So Z, 37k total damage. Yeah, this isn't worth it, bro. Yeah, let's just head to the next sword. Okay, for the next sword we have the Bone Scythe. Now for the Bone Scythe, we currently have max upgrade on this sword with Tempest Stone. Now this used to be meta, honestly. I think back in Halloween, this was meta with the Gate Fruit, bro. You could insta like lock anyone with the most insane combo ever. But let's go ahead and test out the moveset. So I think this, yeah, this got like 2 major nerfs. Yeah, because people were complaining saying it was the meta. It was the meta and it was pretty broken. So for the Z move, we're using, oh, messed up there. 21k damage for the Z move, and for the X move, 21k as well. So 43k in total. Now let's go ahead and test out a combo with this. So it does look cool, honestly. So 42k total damage with this sword. Honestly, it's still a pretty good sword. Better than some of the ones I've actually showed. But yeah, not a bad sword. I'll rate this sword like a solid 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. Let's head over to the next sword. Now, for the next sword, we have Dawnbreaker. Now, Dawnbreaker is a pretty OP sword. For this one, I currently don't have any upgrades on the sword at all. But let's go ahead and test out the damage on this sword. So for Z move, I'm sorry, 47k? Wait, no way. Oh my goodness, 48k without any upgrades? That is insane. What? 47 is insane. Let's look at the X move. 23k. Whoa. The first move set is insane, bro. What? 47k, 48k. Okay, let's go ahead and test out a combo with this sword. So let's see. Wait, I messed up. Let's do that one more time. 55k. Let's see this. 48k. 71. Oh my goodness. Bro, we have a new meta. This is so much more better than BMT. What? No way. This is insane. And this is without any upgrades as well. No upgrades. Bro, what? That is insane. 71k damage on this is insane. But let's go ahead and head to the next sword. Alright guys, so for the next sword we have Acrospear. Now, Acrospear did get I think it did get a rework. So, and for this I currently have max upgrade as well as with Tempest Stone. So let's go ahead and test this out. So Acro Strike. That looks cool. Oh my goodness, 42k is insane, bro. That is insane. And then for the X moveset, oh, I messed up. Go ahead and do that one more time. So X moveset, let's see. Oh no, I messed up. Let's do that one more time, bro. What? 27k for the X moveset, which is actually insane. Now let's go ahead and test out a combo on this. So X. $63k. Wow, that is actually pretty cool. Not bad. So that's for max upgrade Acrospear. Now let's head over to the next sword. Alright, for the next sword we have Avalon. Now for my Avalon, I currently don't have this upgraded because I don't see a reason to upgrade this sword. But let's go ahead and test out its moveset. So for Z, 28k, that is not bad. And then for X, I think X is like a move that buffs you. It gives, yeah, I think it heals you and then it gives you like a damage boost. So that really doesn't, yeah, it makes me run faster. And yeah, so just one move set. So Z does, yeah, 24k damage. So the sword only does like 24k damage in total. So let's head over to the next sword. Okay, so for the next sword we have the Acroscyth. Now the Acroscyth is a pretty unique weapon. I currently don't have max upgrade on this weapon, but I do also have Tempest Stone on this. But let's go ahead and test this out. So Warp Inside, 30k damage, and for the X moveset, 19k. Okay, let's go ahead and do that one more time. So Warp Inside, 22k. And for the X move, 19k. Okay, so that is not bad. Honestly, it's not bad. And I do also don't have like a max upgrade on the sword. So let's test out a combo on this. Let's see. So wait, what happened? Okay, now let's do that one more time. So wait, why isn't it hitting him? That is so weird. Like, what am I doing wrong? Is this bugged? Let's try one more time. Okay, so 42k total damage, which is not bad. But yeah, honestly the sword isn't bad. But let's head over to the next sword. Okay, so the next sword will be Abyssal Crab Axe. Now, this sword had so much potential. I really don't know what they did to the sword, but I think it's one of like the best looking swords in the game. In my opinion, I kind of like the way it looks. But King Legacy needs to do something about this sword. Maybe they're trying to save this sword for like a major buff or something. But it's really like it's like one of the worst swords out there right now. So let's test out the Z move. 25k is not bad, honestly. It's not a bad damage. So let's see, X move. And then yeah, I do have Darkstone on this, so the crab spawns in. I think this did like 20k damage. And look, it's not even doing any damage to him. Which is weird. Let's do that one more time. Yeah, 25k damage with... So in total, it does 50k damage, which is not bad, honestly. It's a pretty unique weapon, and I do also have max upgrade on the sword as well. So yeah, it's not a bad sword. So let's head over to the next sword. Alright guys, so for the next sword, we're using the Draken fangs. Yeah, so for Draken fangs, we currently only have 2 upgrade on this, and let's go ahead and test out the movesets as well as the damage. Let's see. So Twin Dragon Strike, 22k, not bad. That's a major pushback as well. And where's this guy? Okay, and for Dragonic Fury, let's see. 28k. Honestly, not bad. That is pretty close to 30k, which is actually pretty decent. So let's go ahead and test it out with a combo. Alright, so X first. 51k damage. Honestly, that is pretty OP. That is not bad for a legendary sword. No, mythical. That's pretty OP as well. So this does 51k total damage. Now let's head over to the next sword. Okay, so for the next sword we have Pumpkin Smasher. Now Pumpkin Smasher did come out, I think, 2023 Halloween update, and this, honestly, Pumpkin Smasher was I seen like a bunch of players actually use this in like a combo videos, PvP combo videos. This is pretty OP. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So we currently have max upgrade on this sword, and we have the Tempest Stone on this as well. So let's see, hammer spins. Oh my, 38k? I think that's way higher than BMT. What? 38k is insane, and the cooldown's also insane as well. Okay, let's look at X. Oh my goodness. 42k. That is insane. 42k is actually insane. I think it bumps the damage up whenever that pumpkin guy just spawns in. But I do want to test it out without that pumpkin guy spawning in. Let's see one more time. 25k base without the pumpkin guy's damage. And for this one, 25k base. So for both the movesets, it's 25k base. But with the pumpkin guy, the second moveset does 40 something k, and the first moveset does 38k, which is insane. So let's go ahead and test out a combo on this. So oh my goodness, 63k for this. Yo guys, I think we have a new meta here as well. This is insane. Okay, let's go ahead and head over to the next sword. Okay, so for the next sword we have ATK, Authentic Triple Katana. Now for this sword I have max upgrade on this as well as with Tempest Stone. Now let's go ahead and test out the Z move. 5k damage, and I think you can do the Z move twice, but just gonna do that one more time and see. 5k damage, 20k damage, so that's for like 2 sets of the Z move. But let's go ahead and test out the X move. 22k damage. Wait, did they nerf the sword? I think they nerfed the sword. Let's go ahead and test out a combo on this. So yeah, I think they did nerf the sword. So let's see. X and honestly, it's not bad. It does 48k even with the double Z move sets. But yeah, they definitely didn't nerf the sword. They nerfed this. They nerfed this so bad, bro. Yeah, they definitely nerfed the sword. Well, let's head over to the next sword. Okay, so for the next sword we have Kioru V2. Now for this sword I currently have it on max upgrade as well as with the Tempest Stone. And this sword is only only good when you pair it with the control fruit. But let's go ahead and test it out without the fruit. So the Z move, 25k. That is not bad. That is actually not bad. And for the X move, 23k. Not bad, honestly. That is actually not bad. That's like a total of 45. Let's see. Let's do it one more time. Let's test it out. Let's test it out with the combo. So 51k damage in total. That is actually not bad. Without the fruit, this is actually not bad. This is a W right here. So let's head over to the next sword. Alright guys, so for the next sword we have Riptide Slayer. Now for this sword I currently have 1 upgrade on this with Tempest Stone. Now for the Z move, 33k damage, and for the X move, 32k damage. That is insane. This sword is still broken. This sword is still broken. Let's go ahead and test this out. So yeah, 49k total damage without max upgrade is actually pretty OP. So I think with max upgrade this can go to like maybe 50 or 60k damage. But yeah, the sword is actually pretty nice. Let's head over to the next sword. Okay, so for the next sword we have Ethereal. Now for Ethereal I do have max upgrade on this sword, and I currently don't know what's the best stone for Ethereal. If you guys do have some recommendations for the best stones for Ethereal, you can go ahead and leave in the comment section below. But for Ethereal, let's go ahead and test out the moveset. So for the Z move, 34k base damage, which is actually pretty cool, and it also has a faster cooldown. And then for the X move, 26k. That is not bad, honestly. That is actually not bad. Yeah, this sword is still OP. Let's go ahead and test out a combo on this. So this with 60k damage on the Ethereal. Yup, this is actually pretty broken as well. Not a bad sword. It's a pretty unique sword in its own. But yeah, highly recommend the sword. And let's head over to the next sword. Okay, and for the next sword we have Saber. Yeah, Saber. I'm currently on Saber V2, and Saber is a pretty OP weapon in its own. For Saber, I do have max upgrade as well as Blaze-Stone on the sword. So the Z move, 28k. This sword used to do so much more damage before. Yeah, 28k on the Z move, and for the X move, 26k base damage, but with the Blaze-Stone we're going up to, that is insane, 43k damage with the Blaze-Stone. That is actually insane. Now let's see a combo on this. $50, 51k damage. Honestly, not bad. Not bad at all. So the Saber is still OP for PvP, even for PvE as well. You can just group a bunch of enemies and just one-shot them. But yeah, so Saber is pretty OP, and let's head over to the next sword. Okay, so for the next sword, we have Longaevus. Now, for this sword, I currently don't have any upgrades on the sword. And let's go ahead and test out the moveset. So for Z, what are we doing? What are we doing? Okay, let's go ahead and do that one more time. That was not good. $26k total damage with Longaevus. That's without any extra damage. Now for the X move, 22k damage. Honestly, this is not bad. Actually not a bad sword. So let's go ahead and test out a combo on this. Oh my goodness, what bro? What are we doing? That's the only issue with this sword. I wish I could just draw the freaking NPC in. Whoa, 47k? Not bad. Honestly, that is not bad for this sword. If you're able to hit the combos, 47k is not bad for this sword. Let's go ahead and head into the next sword. Alright, for the next sword, we have Hunter Blade. Now, Hunter Blade did get a nerf. Like, it's gotten so much nerfs. Like, it's honestly not even worth getting anymore. Because it's just been nerfed so bad that if you have 10 million bounty right now, bro, and if you're trying to get 10 million bounty and you're grinding for this sword, honestly, bro, just yeah, the nerf gutted this sword so bad, bro. So let's just go ahead and test out the moveset. So for Z, we're using how much damage? Look at that, bro. 16k for a Z move on a PvP sword that takes you years to grind for, bro. That makes no sense. Let's do that one more time. So Z, 16k, bro. That makes, you know what's so insane? Sweet Lozenge does way more damage than the Hunter Blade right now, which is actually freaking insane, bro. I don't know what to say. Yo, King Legacy, you gotta fix this, bro. I don't know why you're nerfing the sword, but for the X moveset, 25k. Dang, they really nerfed the sword so bad. It's so sad to see now. And I also forgot to mention, I do also have max damage boost in the sword, and this gives me 12% more damage with Sparkstone. So this is actually kind of insane. 41k total damage. Dang, this used to do like 50k, 57k damage before, maybe 60k prime Hunter Blade, but now it's just so gutted, bro. You can't even, grinding for this weapon isn't even worth it anymore. But yeah, let's just go ahead and head straight into the next sword. Alright guys, so for the next sword, we are using Muramasa. Now, I am currently on Muramasa V1. I haven't gotten the V2, because there was an update whereby the Muramasa V1 was doing so much damage to Kaido, or any boss whatsoever, and it was insane. It was pretty broken. And for Muramasa, I currently have max upgrade on this as well with Blaze-Stone. Yeah, I know, Blaze-Stone on a fire sword is kind of, yeah, I know, bro. But it really doesn't matter, we currently do have Blaze-Stone with max upgrade. So let's go ahead and test out this moveset. So, Z, 16k damage, the X move, 13k, 14, 15? 14k damage on the Muramasa V1's X move. So, honestly, this is V1. I heard V2 does way more damage now, because I think they fixed the issue whereby V1 does more damage. But let's go ahead and test out the combo. So Muramasa V1 does 26k damage. Now this is just V1. I'll probably go ahead and make a video like actually upgrading each and every single sword, and I'll get this to V2 and then showcase it using V2. So Muramasa V2. But for V1, we're currently on 26k damage. So let's go ahead and head straight into the next sword. Okay, so for the next sword, we are using Scepters of Flame. Now for this sword, I currently have not max upgrade, but 12% damage, and it's not even max upgrade. Is insane. I mean, this sword heals you, but it does have a moveset that actually attacks the enemies. I think it's Conjure, yeah. So the Z move. Oh no, it's not Conjure, it's Pyroblast. What am I doing? So that heals you, and Pyroblast does how much damage? 28k damage. That's not bad. Honestly, this sword is just for like a utility sword. It just heals you whenever you're like low, fighting a boss. But the sword itself is actually pretty cool, and I currently don't have a stone on this sword, so you guys can go ahead and recommend some stones for this sword in the comment section below as well. But yeah, the sword is not bad, but let's head over to the next sword. Alright guys, so for the next sword we have Sunken. Now Sunken is one of those OG swords that most players have been using since like beta of King Legacy, and it's a pretty OP sword. And let's go ahead and test out the moveset. So for this sword I currently don't have max upgrades or any stones in the sword, but for the Z move we are doing 13k damage, and for the X move 21k damage. Now this sword is pretty OP for anything actually. I think if you upgrade the sword it'll be way better than it is right now. So yeah, the sword is pretty unique. Let's go ahead and test out a combo and let's see how much total damage it does. So 34k total damage, which is actually pretty cool. And honestly, it's a pretty nice sword. For me, it's a solid 7 out of 10. So okay, but let's head over to the next sword. Okay, so for the next sword we have Daybreak Cleaver. Now for Daybreak Cleaver, I currently don't have any upgrades on the sword, and I actually don't see a reason why I actually need to add like an upgrade on the sword or any stones. But let's go ahead and test out the moveset. So for Z, what? Did this get buffed? 21k damage. How about X? 22k damage. This is not bad. Wow, what? Daybreak Cleaver is actually it's a pretty nice sword. Does he have any teleportation? Nope, nothing. Let's go ahead and do this. Test out the total damage. So 21k damage. So 43k total damage, and the knockback is pretty insane too. Yeah, so 43k total damage, not bad. It's a pretty unique sword. And let's head over to the next sword. Now we have Authentic Mace. Now Authentic Mace is a sword that actually, I think it's got a buff, and it's a pretty OP sword for fighting bosses. And let's go ahead and test this out. So the Z move, 20k, not bad on a singular NPC. And let's see X move. Oh man, that knockback is so annoying. I'm not too sure if it did 20k damage total because of that knockback, but let's do that one more time. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah, like 31k damage on a singular NPC. It might be more because majority of the skill sets is not even hitting the enemy. But honestly, the sword it's not for like a singular opponent. It's just for it's not for like an NPC, like these NPCs, just for like bosses. That's what the sword is for. But let's test out a total damage. So knockback. Yeah, and I do also have Blaze-Stone on this sword, as well as max upgrade on this as well. And yeah, 31k damage. Nah, I don't think so. Let's do that one more time. So X move. Whoa, why isn't it hitting you? So X. It probably does way more than that. I'm just not hitting my movesets on the target because the knockback is actually insane. But yeah, honestly, I don't know the total damage for the sword. It's to be determined. But if you guys do know the total damage for the sword on like a regular NPC, not a boss, then yeah, on a boss you can probably pump out like 100k damage for the sword just by itself on the X move. Now let's head over to the next sword. Okay, for the next sword we have Aquatic Anchor. Now for this sword we have max upgrade on this as well with no stones. And for the Z move, 18k damage, not bad, not bad. For the X move, what? 45k? That is insane. I had no idea this did so much damage. So let's go ahead and test out total damage. So for the X move, it does 45k, and for the Z move, I think 18k. How many damage did this do? Yeah, 18k damage, which is not bad. So that X move is actually pretty broken. So let's go ahead and test this total damage. So Z. 61k damage. That is actually not bad. What? This sword is actually pretty cool. Not bad, not bad. This pumps a lot of damage with the X move. But yeah, not a bad sword. Let's head over to the next sword. Okay, so for the next sword we have Hell Sword. Now for Hell Sword, I do have max upgrade with Lifestone. Yeah, I know Lifestone is kind of insane on the sword, but yeah. Let's go ahead and test out the moveset. So for the Z move, 22k damage, not bad. And for the X move, 24k damage. Yeah, this sword is still it's actually pretty still cool. Cause when I was grinding, like when I was a newbie in King Legacy, this was one of the swords I was actually grinding with that actually took me from a newbie to a max level. This sword is a pretty unique PvE grinding food, honestly. So let's go ahead and test this out. 46k total damage. That is not bad, honestly. It's a pretty good sword for grinding mobs, and yeah, not for bosses though, just for mobs. Yeah, it's a pretty nice sword. But let's head over to the next sword. Okay, so for the next sword we have Metal Trident. So for Metal Trident we have no upgrades on the sword whatsoever. And for the Z move we have Sonic Leap, 15k damage. And for the X move, 21k damage. Not bad, not bad. It's actually not a bad sword, but it's not the best for grinding. This is just like a collectible sword if you just want to have this as like a collectible. But let's go ahead and test the total. 21k, 37k total damage. Yeah, it's not the best sword, but it's still not a bad sword, just as a collectible. But let's head over to the next sword. Now for the next sword we have Dragon Standard. Now this sword I currently have only one upgrade on this sword, and it does 15% more damage. And this is actually a pretty unique sword, honestly. Let's test out the moveset. So Z, 5k. I'm sorry. That is insane. Let's do that X move. Yep. Oh wow, 33k. That is not bad. 33k for the X move is actually pretty good for this sword. Let's look at that Z move one more time. Is that a whole 5k? That's insanely terrible. That is so bad. But the sword does look pretty cool. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. And yeah, wouldn't recommend the sword for grinding or PvP or anything of that sorts. But let's head over to the next sword. Okay, for the next sword we have a pretty unique weapon, and this is Apollos. Now Apollos is a pretty nice weapon. I wish this weapon had had more recognition and they could buff this weapon because it looks pretty cool. It's kind of similar to Sonata in looks, not in movesets. But let's go ahead and test out the moveset. So for this sword, I currently have max damage on the sword and does 14% more damage. What? This does 15% more damage and this does 14% more damage on max upgrade. That is kind of weird. But let's go ahead and test this out. So for the Z move, what? 30k is insane, bro. What? That is insane. And for the X move, 24k. Not bad, not bad. Actually, it's not a bad sword. Not a bad sword at all. I mean, you can use this for PvP and PvE. But yeah, let's go ahead and test out a total damage. 54k total damage. That is not bad. That is actually not bad. Pretty unique sword, and I actually do like the way it looks. Yeah, looks pretty cool. But let's head over to the next sword. Okay, so for the next sword we have Sunken Blade. Now for Sunken Blade, the Z move does 24k damage, and for this sword I currently have only one upgrade which does 13% more damage, and for the X move does 24% more damage, which is not bad. But let's go ahead and test out the total damage for this sword. So 48,000 damage, which is not bad, honestly. Actually, not a bad sword. But let's head over to the next sword. Okay, guys, so for the next sword, we have the Shark Blade. Now, for the Shark Blade, I currently don't have any upgrades on this sword. But let's go ahead and test out the moveset. So we have Tornado Slash. That's so bad. And for the next moveset, we have Shark Style. You know, thinking Shark Style, you might just see your character turn into a shark and just attack the enemy, but not. So it's a ground slam move. Okay, bro. Yeah. So this sword is just good for first C, not second C or third C. But let's see the total damage on this sword. So Z, 26k total damage. Honestly, not the best for grinding or anything. But let's head over to the next sword. Alright, guys. So for the next sword, we have Anubis Axe. Now for this sword, this is actually a pretty unique sword, because I used to use this sword when I was farming for bounty to get to like 10 million bounty for the 100 blade. For the upgrades, I do have one basic upgrade with Bladestone on this sword. Now for the Z move, which damage does this do? 19,000 damage, not bad. And for the X move, we have let's see, 25,000 damage, which is actually not that bad for this sword. I used to use this for like PvP back in the days, but let's go ahead and see. So total moveset, let's see. Oh my gosh, let's do that one more time. So yeah, now the burn damage is working, which is kind of weird, but so 49,000 damage with the Bladestone, but it should be like 48,000 damage base. But let's do that one more time. Yeah, 45,000 base damage without the Bladestone's effect, but honestly not a bad sword for PvP and PvE. Let's head over to the next sword. For the next sword, we have Pipe. Now, Pipe is a sword you get in the first C. And for this sword, we currently don't have any upgrades whatsoever. And let's see, Iron Slam, 14k damage, not bad for a first C sword. And Iron Lunge, 15k damage, not bad for a first C sword, honestly. But yeah, so let's go ahead and test out the total damage for both movesets. So 30k damage, which is not bad for a first C sword for this sword. But let's head over to the next sword. Okay, so for the next sword, we have the mini mace. Yo, I don't remember the last time I ever used the mini mace, but yeah, the mini mace is pretty cool. And let's go ahead and test this out. I'm actually kind of curious to see if this does the same amount of damage as the authentic mace. But I currently don't have anything, no upgrades on the sword. Let's see, Thunderbolt, 16k damage, not bad. Thunderbeat, 15k damage, honestly not bad. But you know what would be so cool? You know, so the authentic mace does this insane amount of damage on like large targets like the bosses. Imagine if this sword did just about the same amount of damage as the authentic mace, but like on NPCs or just like smaller mobs. That would actually be pretty cool, honestly. But let's go ahead and test out the total damage for this sword. So, and yeah, 31k total damage for this mini mace, which is not bad. But let's head over to the next sword. For the next sword, we have the Cookie Sword. Now, for the Cookie Sword, let's test out the Z move. 19k? What? Oh yeah, I did hear this. I think the sword got a like a rework. And I currently don't have any upgrades on the sword, so that's 19k base damage without any upgrades to the sword. And for the Z move, 18k, not bad. That is actually not bad. So let's go ahead and test out the total damage for the sword. So 38k total damage. Nah, I'm not sure. Let's do that one more time. If it's 38k, that is not that bad for like base damage without any upgrades. But let's see. Yeah, 38k total damage on the sword. That is without any upgrades at all. And it's actually not a bad sword, honestly. I did hear it got a rework, but it kind of still feels the same. Maybe different, but let me see. I mean, yeah, that kind of got a rework, but yeah, it's not a bad sword. But let's head over to the next sword. Okay, now we have Phoenix Blade V2. Now, I think you can revert back to Phoenix Blade V1. I wish King Legacy had an option whereby you can just revert back to like your old like V1s, V2s, or V3s. I think you can do that for the race, like your race. But I'm not too sure about weapons yet. But I do have Phoenix Blade V2. And for Phoenix Blade V2, we do have max upgrade on this as well with Blaze Stone. Why is it that when you upgrade the swords, the damage is it's going down? Why am I on 12% and this is what's 14%? That makes no sense. That actually makes zero sense at all. But let's test out the moveset. So Z move. Now let's do that one more time. Let's do that one more time. And for stones, I do have Blaze Stone on this sword. So for the Z move, the sword is still so broken, bro. This is insane. 47,000 damage just off the Z move, bro. The sword is still so broken. Sword might be freaking gunslingers, but yeah, the sword is so OP. And then for the X move, so I think 12, yeah, so around 12k. But if you 12k for the X move, but you can just spam the X move, which is actually pretty unique. But yeah, the sword is actually pretty still broken. It's a pretty broken sword. But let's go ahead and do that X move one more time. So 135k for just the X move. Yeah, this is broken. This is actually pretty OP for grinding any mob. So if you guys currently have Phoenix Blade V1, I'll suggest you get V2. V2 is broken. But let's head over to the next sword. For the next sword, we have Quake Spear. Now this sword is it's actually not bad. I currently only I do have max upgrade on the sword, which is actually kind of insane, as well as Tempest Stone. But yeah, let's go ahead and test this out. So Quake Smack, 19k damage, not bad. Quick Ball, 21k damage. That is not bad. So that is on max upgrade as well, and max upgrade gives us plus 14% more damage. That is actually not bad. 48k total damage on the Quake Spear. Yeah, not a bad sword at all. Yeah, pretty cool sword. Let's head over to the next sword. Okay, so for the next sword, we have Demon Trident. So for Demon Trident, this did recently get a rework. And for the Z move, oh, what am I doing, bro? All right, let's go ahead and test out the X move instead. So for the X move, we have how much damage? What? 35k damage? Did this get a buff? Bro, this is Demon Trident, just base Demon Trident without any buffs or any no damage amplifiers, nothing like that, bro. This is just the base, and that did 35k damage. Let's look at the Z move. 20k damage. What, bro? King Legacy, bro. You guys are worried about the wrong thing. You're buffing the wrong swords. You are buffing the wrong swords, bro. Like, go ahead and what are we doing? Everything is just so backwards, bro. Go ahead and freaking buff the freaking Abyssal Crab Axe, and you're buffing the Demon Trident, bro. What are we doing? Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the X move one more time. 35k is insane. What? 35k damage with the Z move. Let's go ahead and do a total. Let's see total damage. So 20k, 56k damage, just base, no upgrades, nothing. Bro, this is a first C sword too. No way, bro, that is insane. Bro, King Legacy, everything's backwards, bro. You gotta just go ahead and do something about the freaking legendaries. Bro, how a legendary is way worse than freaking rares in the game, bro. That system is so backwards, bro. But let's go ahead and head straight into the next sword. Okay, so for the next sword we have Ponderblade. Now Ponderblade is a pretty unique sword, and let's go ahead and test out the moveset. So for the X, 15k damage, not bad. For the Z move, 15k damage, which is not bad. And I currently have one upgrade on this sword, which does 15% more damage for some reason. What? And let's go ahead and test out a combo on this sword. So total, it does 30k damage, and it's not a bad sword. I think I might actually go ahead and upgrade the sword. Definitely, pretty unique looking sword, and yeah, not a bad sword. Let's head over to the next sword. For the next sword, we have Kioru. Now this is base Kioru V1, yeah, and this currently has 0 upgrades, nothing at all on this sword. So for the Z move, 6,000 damage. For the X move, 17k damage. Yeah, that's pretty terrible. That is actually so bad. But yeah, Kioru V2 does way more damage, so we're fine with that. But let's go ahead and test the total damage for this sword. Oh my gosh, 37k total damage is so bad, bro. But it's, yeah, let's just head over to the next sword. For the next sword we have Pole. Now I think did Pole get a rework? I'm not too sure. For this sword I currently have no upgrades on the sword as well, but I'm not too sure if this got a rework or not. But Dragon Head, 17k damage, and Thunder Tempest, 20k damage. Not bad, honestly. That is actually not bad. But let's go ahead and see the total damage for this sword. 37k. Yup, 37k damage. Yeah, it's not bad. Cool looking sword. But let's head over to the next sword. Okay, for the next sword we have the Gold Spear. Now let's go ahead and test out the Z move. 15k, not bad. X move, 15k, so pretty close to like 31k total damage. Yeah, pretty, actually not bad, but I wouldn't recommend this if you're like in 3rd C or something. Let's say that one more time. So total damage, yeah, 30k, so 30k damage total. And yeah, not recommended for 3rd C or 2nd C, just for 1st C. But let's head over to the next sword. Now for the next sword we have Triple Katana. Now this is totally different from authentic Triple Katana. Where's that at? Yeah, right here. This is a whole different Triple Katana on its own. And I currently have one upgrade on this sword, which is 15% more damage. So let's go ahead and test out its moveset. So Z, 6,000 damage. X, 16,000 damage. Yeah, so this is not recommended for both 2nd and 3rd C, just for 1st C. Let's go ahead and test out the damage again. Total damage, 23k total damage. Yeah, highly wouldn't recommend this for 3rd C. Just 2nd, no, not even 2nd C as well, just 1st C. But yeah, let's head over to the next sword. For the next sword we have Jitter. Now for Jitter, we currently don't have any stats in the sword. And let's test out the lethal slash. 11,000 damage, not bad. X move, lethal slam, 12,000. Not bad, honestly. Still pretty standard for 1st C swords. So let's see the total damage, and yeah, no upgrades. Okay. Lethal slam, 23k total damage, not bad. But let's head over to the next sword. Okay, so the next sword is the fishing rod. Yeah, so the fishing rod does have, I think this got a rework. It does have its own dash animations. It's pretty cool. And I currently don't have this, which is actually insane. I don't have any upgrades on this fishing rod. But let's see. So Hook Storm, 13k damage. and Daybreaker, 15k damage. Yeah, so I honestly don't know what the movesets are for. Maybe this is like a hint to like a updated 11, but let's go ahead and check out the total moveset. So this and this, 29k total damage for the fishing rod. Yeah, honestly I have no comment on this. It's just for fishing. But I might go ahead and upgrade this in the next video, where I'll be upgrading each and every single sword in the game. But before that, I do want to go ahead and get every single sword in the game first, and then upgrade every single one of them. But let's go ahead and head straight to the next sword. Okay, so for the next sword, we have the Nightblade. Now, I currently don't have any upgrades on the swords as well. So for the Z move, 20k damage, not bad. For the X move, 20k damage as well, and that doesn't do any burn damage, and it says Inferno Roar, which is weird. But let's go ahead and check the total damage. So let's do this and this. So 40k total damage on this sword, and that is not bad. Honestly, it's actually it's not bad for a first C sword. It's not bad. But let's head over to the next sword. The next sword we have is the Adventure Knife. Now, the Adventure Knife is this knife. Honestly, this sword used to be pretty OP, or this knife used to be OP. But let's go ahead and test it out. So for the Z move, where'd he go? Okay, 19k damage on the Z move, and for the X move, 17k damage. That is not bad. Let's go ahead and check out the total damage for this sword. So we are looking at 37k total damage on this sword, which is not bad. But yeah, let's go ahead and head to the next sword. For the next sword, we have Tashi Blade. Now for Tashi Blade, this is a sword that you only use in first C. For the first moveset, we have Spinner. What? 15,000 is actually not bad for a first C sword. And for the next moveset, Slash, 17,000 damage. That is not bad for a first C sword. What? That is actually pretty cool for a first C sword. And for this sword, I currently don't have any damage boost or any stones in the sword. But what am I doing? Yeah, let's go ahead and do that one more time. Let's see. So for the total damage, Spinner. So 32,000, yeah, 32,000 damage for the total moveset on this sword, which is not bad for a first C sword. And I like the fact that you get the sword like way early on in the game. So this will definitely help you for like PvE grinding to get you to like a higher level. But yeah, let's head over to the next sword. Okay, so for the next sword, we have Katana. Now, let's go ahead and use the first move. 13k, that is cool. And then Windwalk. What? Why didn't that hit you? That's weird. Let's go ahead and do that one more time. $15k damage. Not bad, honestly. I mean, you can buy this. You can buy the sword from an NPC in the first sea on the very first island. It's a pretty nice sword for grinding. But once you get the Tashi Blade, I'll suggest you upgrade to the Tashi Blade. And for this sword, I currently have I currently do have 24% more damage on this sword. Yeah. Let's do that one more time. So let's see the total moveset. So why isn't that hitting this dude, bro? That is so weird. Let's go ahead and do that one more time. Okay, so this 15k. So 28k total damage for the Katana, and let's go ahead and head straight into the next sword. Okay, so for the last sword, we have the Barbaric Axe. Now, this is a first C sword. Let's see this. I currently don't have any upgrades on the sword as well. So for the Z move, let's see, 12,000 damage, not bad. For the X move, 14k damage, not bad. Honestly, it's not a bad sword. Now let's go ahead and test out the total damage for the sword. So 26,000 damage on the Barbaric Axe, Now, I think those are all the swords I currently have in my inventory, and we've actually gone through each and every single one of them. But I will be going, so for my next video, I'll be like farming to get every single sword in the game, and then upgrading each and every single sword in the game. So stay tuned for the next video. Without further ado, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, guys. We did hit 4,000 subscribers, which is actually insane. And the giveaway is currently valid for 2 days, so if you do want to go ahead and join the giveaway, you do need to join the Discord. Without further ado, I'll go ahead and see you guys in the next video.